They're saying
Hear you
yes.
just fine.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Okay, so everybody
first
here can
I
hear.
want to send my apologies. I made my very best attempt to get to John Carroll. However, yeah. Okay. All right, Jim, first off, I just want to thank you for being so...
Recording started.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Jim, are we okay to go?
yeah, give me one sec. So we have on the line with us, I'll let the Blackboard folks introduce themselves. Our representative, Megan, tried to be here. She got stuck on the turnpike, so she's currently at a travel plaza dialed in. I apologize, we had some technical difficulties with the lectern on our side this time. We'll get that fixed. So this is Blackboard. They're using their Collaborate feature to demonstrate. I'm going to let you guys at Blackboard talk more about that. We have a room of about 16, 20 people here at John Carroll, and we're recording this as well. So this can be as interactive as the Blackboard folks want or not. I'll let you talk to that. We do have microphones here. If there are questions, it will help for everybody to hear, unless you want to talk extremely loudly. So with that, sorry for the delay. Go right ahead. Can you hear us? Did we lose the Blackboard folks?
Yeah, so Megan...
There you are.
Hope you all can still hear me.
Yeah, Megan's got a delay, so we're going to have to get... Megan, why don't you go ahead and say hello and get started and turn it over to Karen. She's got a delay, so she's getting it a little bit late on the audio.
Okay, I'll keep it very short. So I'm Megan Rossetti. I am your account executive who's based in Youngstown, Ohio. I have with me Karen Owens, who's a systems engineer with Blackboard, and she has been with our company since the acquisition of Angel. And she had started at Angel in 2004, and she was a consultant, and now she is one of our systems engineers who really understands the product well. And we also have Stephanie King, who is our Collaborate representative, and she has been with Blackboard for about 5 years, and I myself have been with Blackboard for about 2 months. So given that I have a slight delay, I'm going to sit back, but I will be back at the end of the presentation. And just know Jim, please facilitate any questions or requests to my information, either email or call. Both are acceptable. So I will let Stephanie and Karen kick it off.
Okay, Karen, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is Karen Owens. As Megan said, I'm a solutions engineer on Blackboard Learn. I did come to Blackboard via Angel. I live in Columbus, Indiana, so just one state over. It's further south, so we don't actually have the snow right now. We got that freezing rain last night, and the sun's trying to come out. So it's coming your way. The sun will come back out. So today, I'm going to be going through Blackboard. I'm going to be concentrating on the new features. My understanding is that you are currently on Service Pack 11, but we've had some new features come out since then. So I'm going to focus on those, and then also a little bit of what's coming in our upcoming releases. So just to give you an idea. So I'll spend a little time on that, and then we'll move over to Stephanie, and she will highlight more of the Collaborate tool itself. If there are any questions, feel free to ask questions as we're going through. Given our time frame, we'll go to about 12:30, but go ahead and ask questions as we're going. Instead of holding that last half hour just for questions. You can either type them into the chat area or you can ask them verbally. We were hearing you just fine. Okay, I'm, for starters, going to share my desktop and go into the software itself. Okay. So I wanted to log in, show you a couple sites here first. So just to make you aware, I know you have Blackboard and are using it, but if you want to use the latest and greatest and want to see some of these new features that I'm showing you, you can go to coursesites.com and register for an account there, and that will be the latest and greatest version. We usually get that upgraded within weeks of the software release being actually released, and so this will always have the latest and greatest version. Also, one other site, you may or may not know about this. This is a great site, just help.blackboard.com. This is a great site to get information. So, for example, if you're using rubrics, but you want to have a little more information on rubrics, you can just type in rubrics. And we have all kinds of information on how to use the rubrics. It will step you through all the information on how to use rubrics. And here at the bottom, you see there's actually different videos. So there's actually videos to step you through any of those. So if you have any questions on using any part of Blackboard, just go to help.blackboard.com and you can get any of that help. Okay? So now let's log in. I first want to log in as Chip. Chip is my student. I'm going to show a little bit from Chip's perspective, and then I'm going to go in as an instructor, show you some of the new tools within the course, show you some new grading tools, some new content that you can add, and so forth, and just give an overall idea again of kind of what's new from your current version. So here I'm logging in as Chip. And Chip has his My Blackboard area up here. So you see his picture and his name, and you see the little tree. So he's got some new notifications. So if we click on the little arrow and look down, we can see that there are some different notifications or updates for available to him. He can see that there's been new work or new content added to his course. He can see that there's been some new posts in the wikis, in his discussion forums, and so forth right here. He can also, if there's any new course mail, get that information right here. So the course mail now receives notifications also. So any of those will appear right here for him. As you know, he can actually post to the discussion forum right from here if he's reading a discussion forum, or he can dive into that discussion forum by clicking on it. With the new version, the look and feel of the discussion forum has been updated. So here you can see it has a different look and feel. We have the avatar or icon of the user. Their profile information that they have chosen to share is visible. If a user does not want to share their profile, we just see the black or grayed out head. We know somebody, we have their name, but if they don't want to share their picture, they don't have to. They have those options. But you see, it's just much nicer look and feel to that discussion forum. You can see the indents here on those discussion forums. So you can follow those threads. You can collapse them all if you'd rather see it this way. You can hide, the different responses this way also. You have all the same functionality that you've always had in the discussion forum, so you can still do anonymous posts, you could do moderated posts, you could do star rankings, and all of those different options that are there were there before. We also have one new option. We have the post first discussion forum. So if you are using discussion forums and grading them, and you want your students to actually come up with an original thought, not just read everybody else's and summarize, you can set it up to be post first, which just means the students will not see any of these posts until they have actually submitted a post. And so they must submit a post before viewing any of these other posts. Okay? Questions on any of that so far? don't see any questions either way. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as myself as an instructor. And here, just again, a couple new things within the system. This little link up here is quick links. Blackboard is always very concerned about accessibility. We have accessibility throughout the system. The whole interface is W3C compliant. We had an outside vendor go through and actually check for accessibility. But this is one of the new tools. If you pop that up, it just shows the screen in a condensed view. If you've ever listened to a screen reader, this is a much, much easier way to hear and understand the screen than the screen reader reading this other screen behind it. It has the same information, just in a format that's much better for screen readers. We also have all the keyboard shortcuts. So if you have users who have accessibility, maybe can't use a mouse and need to use keyboard shortcuts, all of those are listed. And these are available throughout the system. So if you're inside a course, on any of the different pages in Blackboard, you can get to these quick links. So let's go inside a course. I have this example course where I just kind of build some different type of data. And you can see how some different things there. But I want to show you some of the new items that you can do here inside as far as adding content. One, we now have Explore. And Explore is a cross-platform learning object repository. So what does that mean? Well, a learning object repository is a place to store any content. So it can be tests, it could be pages, it could be files, it could be a discussion forum. Any of those types of things are the objects. So it's a place to store the objects where you can use them in any of your courses. So you can store the file once and use it in all the courses you are teaching. You also, when we say cross-platform, this repository can be accessed by Blackboard Learn, by Moodle Room's Joule, by Sakai, and by Angel. So it's actually accessible from various LMS platforms. So if as an instructor you teach, some of our instructors are adjuncts and teach at multiple institutions, they could put their content here and Explore and access it from those different systems. You can also access it from any Blackboard site. So here, if we go discover content, there is content placed down here by different digital publishers. So we're working with the different digital publishers to put their content here in the system. But other faculty from other Blackboard institutions or other institutions who have access to Explore through Sakai, Angel, Moodle Room's Joule, or Blackboard Learn have input content and decided to share it. So here as an example, if we search, we can see some different algebra content. Some are pages, some are discussion forums, different types of content. You can look at it here. You can check out the copyright information. You can actually add it to your course just by clicking here. You can also create your own content. So here you can see you can create pages, files, links, collections, quizzes, assignments, discussion forums. But in this case, let's just create a page. You have the rights to set up your copyright information. So you can use the default Creative Commons license, or you can create your own license. So using the Creative Commons format, you can create your own copyright license and attach that. And you can decide who you want to share this content with. You can choose to share it with no one, so it's very private, but you can use it across all your courses. You can say, I only want to share it with others here at John Carroll, or maybe at other specific institutions. Or you can say only certain individuals, so only my friend Susie can use this content, or you can say, just make it available to everyone. So those are the different options for sharing the different content or objects that you have placed out here. And then as we return back to our course, you can see that we added that object right here. As far as the student is concerned, they don't realize if this object is coming from a different spot. They can click on it. It's there inside their course. They can see it. It could be a discussion forum. It could be a test. It could be just content that they need to read and they need to go through. Whatever type of content you want to incorporate into your course. So a great capability to allow you to share content across courses, your own content, but also to search and use content by other publishers and by other institutions.
Can you hear me? I have a question.
Go ahead.
Hi. So if I create content and I create a bunch of very large videos, is there any space limitation, or do you charge the university for extra space, or am I going to have to get the university to approve additional space in order to post things that exceed whatever the basic deal is?
John, if you're closer up front, can you summarize? I got bits and pieces, but didn't quite hear the whole thing.
I can do it again slower if you like.
The question is there a quota for the size of the space that can be stored, the videos, or is it a charge item to the institution based on the size of what we store?
With the Blackboard content system, there is no limitation to space as space requirements inside of Explore. Okay. Now that said, Explore is not intended to be a streaming server for videos. Videos can be placed in there in the file area, and there's not a limitation on that space, but it's just not, at this point, really configured to be a video streamer of content.
So in the future, it may become an issue you have to deal with.
Potentially, if there's becomes lots of videos, if you have large, long videos that you're placing out there, the intent is to display content, but not necessarily be the video streamer. And so there could be some bandwidth issues, so your students may see a little bit of delay or where it has to load on those videos.
Thank you.
Not saying that it's just a consideration for in the future.
But then could you...
Other questions?
Yeah.
Another question.
If it's not video streaming, then could students download a video as if it was normal content?
Did you hear that?
So if it's not streaming the video, can they actually download the content?
Yes.
Yes, so they can actually download the files, whether they be video or other types of files. Other questions?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right, so we saw how we can add and explore content. Let's go to a couple other things. I'm going to switch to a class that has content built out and show you a couple other features. So inside of a test, so if I go to content, I have a test already in this course. And if we go go down to the test. Here's a pretest, and I just want to look at the test options. So do you ever have students who need to take extra time to take a test? So if you have a time limit, so you've come in and you set the timer to 60 minutes, but they need a longer period of time due to their IEP, or, you know, for whatever reason, they need extra time. Or a student comes in and says, I can't take the test on Thursday, can I take it on Wednesday instead? So you have exceptions to the different items on your test. And we allow now the easy way to set up those exceptions. So I can come in, and let's say that Peter needs extra time to take his test. So I can just click on Peter. And Jeremy is going to take his test on a different day. So I can click on Jeremy, and we're going to do some exceptions for them. Now I can do this by individual. You can see all the individuals in the class are listed. I can also do this by group. Okay, so as we look down here at the bottom, we see the different groups. So maybe the different groups, like my different sections, when I've done merge these sections together, those sections, we want them to take them on different days. So maybe I do that by section. So I can pick those, and when I submit, then I can easily come in. We said Peter needed extra time, so I can easily give him 90 minutes instead of 60, or I could just remove the timer for him, depending on what we need to do. I could change his number of attempts. We said Jeremy needed to take his test on a different day, so I can click here and I can change the date of the day that he's going to take the test. I also have, the forced completion and restrict location options that I can change. The restrict location is if you want to have students come to campus to take the test. You can restrict the IP addresses to certain computers in a computer lab, for example, that they must come to those to actually take the test. So you can restrict the IP location, but for certain users, you can change that restriction, or you can shut off that forced completion. So you can set up all these different exceptions, again, by individual or by group.
A quick question here. Restrict location triggered this question in my mind. Is there a way that I can find out what location they took it from? In other words, let's say...
So you want to know where they took it from?
Yeah, for example,
and so,
let's say I don't restrict the location. Let's say I do not restrict the location, but I want to make sure I don't have 3 students taking it at the same time on the same computer or 10 minutes apart from each other.
Okay, you can. We have a new report for the test that shows not only the IP that they took the test from, but it also has all the information as far as how long they had spent on the test. So this usually comes up when students, in addition to your example, when if students lose the internet connection or started the test, there can be different questions as far as, well, how far through the test did they get before they lost the internet and so forth. So we do have a new report that shows exactly what questions they have saved, which ones they've answered, how long they spent on each of those, and the IP that they actually took the test from.
All right, thank you very much.
Other questions?
They log in through the VPN, can they get around this location restriction?
Did you hear that?
I heard VPN, but I didn't hear the rest of that.
So if the student logs in through our campus VPN, can they get around this?
You mean get around if you have restricted IP locations?
Are you talking about from a location standpoint, Sheila, or?
Yeah, like maybe they log into the VPN and they're actually at home instead of on campus.
It should still pass their, home IP address to Blackboard.
Should?
It should. Do you know how that would work? So if they come in through a VPN, Karen, we're not readdressing them. So you would still get the raw IP address that they came from, correct?
I think so. I can double check on that one for you.
Let's test it and see.
I'm not 100% sure, so I'll double check.
So if I remote into my computer, then it will still have the IP address on campus, right?
If you remoted into your computer from off campus
Yeah.
and connected to Blackboard, it would register the IP address of your computer.
On campus,
Right.
right.
Students could do that. If they had a computer on campus, they can't remote into the classroom and lab PCs.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions there?
Not at this time.
Okay. Was that a question?
No.
Okay. In addition to the test availability, we also have added options for feedback. Unfortunately, we still have students who sometimes like to share their answers with the other students before those students have taken the test. And so we have some feedback options. So when the students take the test, so after submission, only show them their score, but don't show them the answers. And then when all the attempts are graded, or maybe after the due date, there's a couple different options there. But after all the attempts are graded, that's when we would show them the answers so that they can know exactly what the right answers were for all the questions. So that way they don't get all the right answers right away and share those with their friends who haven't taken the test yet. Excuse me. Okay. Do we have users who are using the group feature inside of Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay. So inside of our groups, we've added just some easier management of these groups. So it makes it a little easier to create groups and to manage who's in what group. So you can see the different reports of who's in which group and so forth. So as you create a new group, and we come down and we set up our number of test. If you want to sign up, let's just say we're doing a test. Okay. Sorry, I forget all these defaults I gotta fill out. So as I created my new group, and where did it go? Well, it's probably one of my other ones are going to work out better here. But you can see I have the different groups. Of course, they don't have anybody in them yet. But as they look at our different groups, it's much easier now to manage the groups, see who's in these groups. The list of users that are in there, you can also see it from the other perspective. If you have a particular user, you could see their list of groups. So you know which ones they are in and which ones they've joined. So just some different management tools here for managing your groups. One other really nice feature, have you started using the new calendar?
Yes. Some have.
Some have, okay. And so we have the automatic, as soon as you put a due date on the items, it appears on the calendar, which is a great tool, but then that always brings up the next question is when I move from spring term to fall term, I got to change all those dates. Well, now we have a date management tool. So in the first part, you would adjust all the dates. You could use like the course start date. So in spring, it was January 15th. In fall, it's August 15th. And it would adjust all the dates according to that. Or you could say, adjust it by a number of days, and you can use, 160 days or whatever the appropriate number of days are to move forward all the dates in your class. So it will do that initial movement of all the different dates in your class, but then it lists all of the items here with all the different dates. So you have your due date, your start and end dates for availability, your start and end dates if you have adaptive release. And for all of those dates, you can look at them. But spring, has spring break, and in the fall, we have Thanksgiving, and those usually fall at very different points in time. So maybe as I scroll down towards the end of my class, these items need to be moved out 3 more days. So I could pick those items, and I can adjust the dates on them. Or you can see here, as all these dates are here, I can just edit the dates directly by checking Edit. So it makes it very easy to manage all of those dates. So a great tool for managing all those days. So allows you to really take advantage of that new calendar tool where things are getting put on the calendar automatically when you create those due dates. So let's go look now at grading. So as we come down and we go into Grade Center and Needs Grading. I like to grade from the Needs Grading view. You may grade from the Grade Center itself or from the items themselves. So however you normally grade is fine as far as accessing the tool. I haven't graded the demo course and I never grade anything. But here, Chip has submitted a homework assignment. So as we go to grade it, all the different gradable items now have this format. So as we look at it, what I am grading is here on the left-hand side, and my tools for grading it are here on the right. So I can type in a grade. If I have a rubric attached, I have my rubric information here, ability to input notes and feedback and so forth right here on the right-hand side. So all of the items, so discussion forums, wikis, blogs, journals, everything kind of have this format where what you're grading is on the left and your tools are on the right. For this particular homework assignment, Chip attached a Word document, and so I can comment on it. So I can actually, let's start with drawing. I could draw on it. I can highlight some text. I can add text. I can strike out items. I can add comments throughout. So I can mark up that work. And then, again, using my grading tools, I can either pop up that rubric in that list view, which puts it right here. So I like the list view because I can have the list open and my homework item open at the same time. But if I want to see it in that full grid view, I can do that. I can just click in the cells for actually grading it. That gives me, calculates my points. I gave him a 93. I can put that extra feedback in. As you know, you have the video everywhere option, so you could actually record your feedback to the student. And then you can save and go on. So we're going to just save and exit. So it saved that 93 here. We're going to save that rubric, and we're going to actually submit. So now, if we go back, Chip's over here logged in. So we go back to Chip, and we look up here. Actually, he goes to My Grades, which is this little one with the check mark. He should see in his biology class. Not quite there. It takes just a little bit to get there. But here's one that was graded last week. as we come in, you can see the grades, he can see that markup, he can see exactly what you've done to it. So he has options to see exactly what you've done as you grade the items.
So then, just a quick question, so then the
We've
student,
also added,
There's a question?
so the student can then
Go ahead.
download, the student can then download and save the document with all the markups that you have on it, is that correct?
correct. We don't actually change the Word document, so he still has the original Word document in its original form, but he can save this markup.
And that would
Okay.
be
So
saved.
here, he can download it, and it can download it as a doc or a PDF. And, you know, it has all the markups on it.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
but it is a separate, so he still has his original in the original form also.
Thank you.
Can you block that? So they can't download the graded material? Yeah, because like,
Can we turn off the download?
yes.
No, not that I'm aware of.
So they don't give a graded paper out to somebody for next year? Here's all the corrections.
Can you check on that and see if that's an option?
Okay. Yeah, I made a note on that one, so I could double check. Okay, so I need to move a little faster. Stephanie's going to be after me here. It's her time, her half hour coming up here. So, so those are. Oh, one other thing I do want to show. Going back to an instructor's side, if we now looking at the instructor side, we have the retention center. And the retention gives you an idea. You can set up different rules, and it's monitoring your at-risk students. So you can very easily come in. You have set up rules. Show me the students who have not logged in the last 5 days. Show me the students who have missed deadlines. Show me the students who got poor grades, and I can see that list of students. I can drill down on those students. So as I click on Annie here, it will drill down. It will show me the details of what she has. She's never logged in. She's missed the deadlines. It has a history of all the notifications I've sent her. I can very easily send her the notifications through here. So really nice tool for you to configure and then to monitor your at-risk students.
Are there ways to turn off parts?
So, given my timeline, I have roadmap, some ideas of some things that are coming, but
If there are other questions, if you could make note of them, we will send them to them and get them back.
Hello, is anyone left on the line?
Sorry about that. So I didn't realize it was my turn. So yes, I am ready to go. So let me grab. Yeah. Jim, you there?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. So I am Stephanie King, and I am going to take us through the Blackboard Collaborate technology. First, I wanted to say hello. So I'm going to launch my webcam and say hello. Hate to tell everybody this, but I'm coming from Northern California. We don't have any snow here, and I work from my home office.
We could send you
hello
some
to
snow.
you. Yes, as Megan had mentioned earlier, I have been with the company for almost 5 years. I was actually a stay-at-home mom for 20 years and went back to work after raising 6 daughters. I come from a very Catholic family and thought I would compete with my mother who had 9 children. And after 6, I said, no competition, nothing left in me, so I'm done after 6. So welcome, everybody. The Collaborate technology that Blackboard offers is technology that will help you engage your students and your faculty members in a collaborative way. And so that's why they thus named it Blackboard Collaborate. It is a technology that is developed from advice from faculty and such as yourself. We have a product advisory committee, and it is, populated with all kinds of educators. We are in the education space. We stay committed to education, and we continue to, stay on those roads and focus on what our teachers are needing. So, that being said, the web conferencing technology is what we're using today for our meeting tool. This can be used for an online classroom as well. So whether you're using it for a virtual classroom or a webinar or possibly doing some professional development or a blended learning environment, it's a great tool to use for that formal space. And it is all recordable. So while you're recording, we're recording, and I will give you that recording link when we are finished. We also can access this technology through a mobile component. We offer it to our iOS and Android devices today. So know that you can log in as a participant only. It's on a roadmap to allow you to run a session as a moderator, but today it's only for our participants to attend. And so that is a feature as well. And then we have enterprise instant messaging I'm going to touch on. I know that we are limited on time, so I will move quickly. Please interrupt me if you have a question. But our enterprise instant messaging is an IM client that is used for collaboration in a more informal environment. And so you have those options to use that technology as well. Okay, so most importantly, the technology, both of them, allow integration to Blackboard Learn. As far as web conferencing goes, you can integrate your course with Blackboard Collaborate very easily. And today we offer you right inside the course when it's integrated, you get a course room that's already built for you. You get like a virtual office room that's already built for you. And then you have the option to schedule a session. These 3 tabs are right fitting in your course, very accessible for the faculty and the student, okay? So if you were to come into the session or into Learn and you had a class and it was being offered through Collaborate, they would go right into the course and click on that launch the room right from there. So it's a nice way to do that. Very simple for everybody. And then, you're basically logging in from Blackboard Learn, so it's a single point access. So it's helping you streamline that learning and not making it complicated for your students. The interface of the web conference is pretty straightforward. You have the 3 user control panels on the left-hand side of the screen. Those panels are all, for your liking. So they can be rearranged however you choose. They can be collapsed however you choose. Now, Jim, you have the ability on your end there. If you didn't want to look at one of these panels, as an individual participant, you can collapse them in the upper left-hand corner or reopen them by just clicking that arrow. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a drop-down menu where you will see additional features for that panel. I'm a moderator in the session. You're a participant. I see a lot more features there than you do. You're looking at it, Jim, on your side as a student would look at it. And then over on the right-hand side, you see the whiteboard area. You have annotation tools, and you also have across the top, these are all moderator tools. So the moderator has the ability to load content, record, and drive the session. And that's the view that Karen, Megan, and I have today. So that is the user interface. The participants panel has a lot going on, and we are seeing a lot of activity over here today due to some bandwidth issues. And so if you will look, I noticed that, let's see, that Megan has had a few issues today with her bandwidth as she's on the Ohio Turnpike in the Starbucks location. And so the session's detecting some delays there. And you'll see boxes appear over somebody's mic as they are having those delays. Very informative for me, the moderator, because it's telling me that Megan has those delays. So I know if I'm asking Megan a question, or like earlier when we started the session, I knew when we were giving, Megan the instruction to go ahead, that she hadn't heard us yet because of her audio delays. So very valuable to show the delays in a session, for each individual. And this is just something to help people optimize their bandwidth. Maybe that means that my bandwidth is not working so well and I need to shut down some other applications. Maybe I need to go find a plug-in. We are all dependent on the internet connection to use Collaborate. So there are some ways, some things, some best practices that you can use. Anytime you use any of the interactivity tools, they'll light up in blue next to your name. Again, this is valuable if I see somebody chatting. If I'm moderating a session and I see somebody typing in their chat window, it'll appear next to their name. And so that helps me focus on the chat window down there to kind of look for a possible question that might come in there. As we use that chat window a lot of times for taking questions. And we have our standard polling feature. You can raise your hand. When a participant raises their hand, the hand goes up in the participant window, and I'll just raise mine just to show you. And so what happens is it allows the participant to raise their hand and queue you up in the order that you raised them. And then I would call on that particular person throughout the session. The polling feature allows you to take polls of your audience. I can ask yes, no, true, false, or multiple choice questions. Those questions are meant to be on the fly, or I can pre-plan them. If I were to pre-plan a poll, I might create a PowerPoint slide. I might go to my polling feature and change the polling type to support this slide. So let me change it to A through E. And then all of us could use the polling feature and put in our poll response as we needed to. And then I could, possibly share that response with the room, and we could, utilize that polling feature. We also have the ability to use a quiz manager in the room. Quizzes are more pre-planned by the instructor. If I wanted to take the quiz and push it out to my participant audience, then I can do so as the moderator. So as I am pushing this out to you, you have the ability to select your answer and take the quiz. It's just a nice way for you to take a quiz, send a quiz out to your audience, and then I can also take that quiz and those quiz results into a spreadsheet and possibly use those for grading purposes. My internet must have blipped and I got bumped there. So you now have the ability to take the quiz. So as a participant, Jim, you will take your cursor and you will select your answer. And when you do, you can use your cursor and just select it on the left, and then there's a button at the top of the quiz that allows you to send in your quiz. Okay? So if you are by your computer, you can do that or not. And then I, as a moderator, have the ability to stop the quiz when I want to. And then I have the ability to, sorry about that, I'm trying to stop that, and force the quiz out of the session.
Are you there, Stephanie?
Just a quick question for you while we wait for her to come back in.
I'm still on the line, just so you all know. So, and this is Megan, by the way.
Hey, Megan.
So if we go this route, and now all of our students and all of our faculty on it, we're doing all this fancy stuff, is our bandwidth going to be sufficient, or do we have to do something infrastructure-wise to support this effectively?
We have 500 meg of bandwidth to the internet. We can scale that to 2 gig if we need to. So it won't be a John Carroll issue. Are you back, Stephanie?
She did write in the chat box that she lost her connection, so, and I apologize. I think there's something in the air today personally, throwing all of our technology off, but I know Stephanie will be right back because it doesn't take much to get right back into the room. But is there a question I could help you guys with, Jim?
I think not right at this minute.
So you were asking about bandwidth. This is Karen, so I'll just answer. I know a lot depends, just on individual access to the internet, and if there is, like you said, appropriate bandwidth for all the different users who wish to be on the system. My personal here, when I got kicked off, my old router, which was 12 years old, was quit working. I never had issues with it, and I bought a new router, and apparently you have to have it configured just right, because now it kicks me out every once in a while, where I never had that before. So it is more of an individual internet access issue, and yeah, at your institution, we just have to figure out what the required bandwidth would be for all the, the number of students that you have. And again, at a campus, it's a lot. We were just talking to a campus because students will have 3 or 4 different things accessing the internet with their phones and their tablets and their computers. So lots of bandwidth requirements there. Okay, so she's having trouble getting connected back in, apparently. We'll give her just a second. If she doesn't come back, I can actually move into what's coming in Blackboard.
Why don't you do that while we're waiting?
Okay, so let's do that. So we'll go, and we have her slides. I'm going to move back up here. Okay, so until Stephanie gets back, we'll just show you some of the things that are coming inside of Blackboard Learn. So we have gone to a 2 releases per year program now instead of 4. So we will have a spring and a fall release. And our current roadmap has, I do have to say, some of these things may change. It's our best guess, but here's some of the things that that are coming. So one is inside of educator efficiency. We're trying to make it easier for the faculty to work in the system. So one, we're going to add inside the editor, anytime you want to link to any of your other content, an easy tool to do that. So if you have in your assignment here, it says something that you need to review the Chapter 1 lecture materials. Well, now you can highlight that and then easily click and search through your content and click to that and make a link to that. So for within your content, you can have links around to your different course material. A true student preview or student view is also coming. And so if currently when you turn edit mode on and off, when you turn the edit mode off, it's similar to what a student would see, but it really does not have the full grade center capabilities. And, where you can actually have your student, you as your representative student, actually go through the system and get grades. So this will allow all of that. So a true student preview. So Stephanie, we have you back?
Sorry about
getting
that.
There.
I got bumped.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
I got bumped and the system was connecting me back, and I was like, oh no, I don't know what I'm getting back, but so I just reconnected. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So I had just hopped over to what's coming, but we can go back down to yours.
Okay, so I'll let you finish. Do you want to finish this slide?
I finished this one, so we're at a good spot there. So go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so what I was saying about the quiz manager, were you able to see the quiz? I wasn't sure where I lost you, Jim. Did you
Yes,
get
we
that?
did. We took the quiz
Yeah, we
and
saw the
submitted
quiz.
it.
Okay,
For
perfect.
some reason, it won't
All right.
close.
So let's see. The other feature, let's see, that I can pick up on my slides are loading here is the ability to go into breakout rooms. You can create as many breakout rooms as you want to in our technology. That means that an instructor can be in a session and can have any number of students in the session and can literally send them to a breakout session, which is a separate whiteboard area. It's in this space, but it's going to throw them into a separate whiteboard area with separate audio and video, and literally give them an assignment or something to work on, and they're in their own space. The only thing that they share as a room is the chat feature and the participants list, but they will actually go into an actual breakout room with separate audio and a separate whiteboard area. So you can actually take a working whiteboard down there or possibly have an assignment or question or something that you want them to work on while they're down there. Throw them into breakout, have them work on that, and then bring them all back and bring their whiteboards back with them if you want them to present to the main room. So lots of flexibility there. This would be actually a great feature to use when you're using the polling feature. Possibly ask a question and then throw them into breakout based on their answer to that question, possibly let them work a little further on that topic, and then bring them all back. So unlimited breakout rooms with full features down there. You can do application share, web tour, use the whiteboard, all the tools. The only feature that's not down there is the ability to record the collaboration. But again, you can bring the whiteboard back to the main room and record that presentation in the main room. So unlimited breakouts are available. You have the ability to use multimedia in the room. When you use multimedia, you load it into the session, and I loaded one, so let me grab it here, and I'm going to play this for you. Just wanted to play a snippet of that. So we can definitely load multimedia and play that in the session. That too is recordable. So know that you can record that as part of your web conference, and you have the ability to play these various multimedia types. During the session, you also can take a file and transport it to your audience. So I have the ability to go into, my computer. I can grab a PDF at any time and transfer it out to my participant audience. I have just selected a file, and the session is now transporting it to you. You will be offered the ability to save it to your desktop at any time. Again, this too is captured in the recording. So on playback of the recording, this file will be accessible and will be distributed in the recording. Great for handing out assignments or any documentation that you might want to pass through the system. Let's see. The system allows you to record your sessions, but it also allows you to download your sessions. So you have the ability to use our published software either in the backend tool, which is built in, or right inside the course. You can do it, or you can do it right on your desktop. In the course, you have the ability to publish it into an MP3, MP4 right inside the course for your students. So know that you can just flip it to an MP3, MP4 anytime you want. The recording links are posted right into the course as well. So if you are in a course having a session and there's a recording made, then you will have that recording link available inside the course for your students to just click on for playback. So know that that is a feature. We also give you Plan software. Plan is a software that is designed for you to pre-plan your sessions. So as an instructor, you can say, I'm going to be teaching this course, and I want to be really organized for each of the classes. So I want to set up a plan for each one of my sessions. And that plan, of course, you would name accordingly so you know how to retrieve it. And it will basically allow you to set up all of your content within the session and lay it out in the order that you want. So you would put your PowerPoint slide in the plan, and it would have go-to commands for each of the screens. So you will have that, and then you can integrate any of the Blackboard Collaborate commands. Here's a better example of a plan. In this slide, it shows you that you have your go-to screens, which is the titles of your PowerPoint slides, but in between, you have the ability to see the different commands. Here's where we're using the web tour feature. So instead of me clicking on the web tour feature and typing in the website that I want to go to, I can have that already inside a plan. So here I'm taking you on a web tour. As I navigate through the web tour, you follow me. I can take that link, publish it to the URL, to the chat area, and then take myself back to the whiteboard. But in a plan, you can have that command already there. What happens when you use a plan, when the instructor comes into the session, you load the plan, or you can have it preloaded for you. And then this window pops up for that instructor to drive through the session. And all the instructor is doing is clicking to the command that they want to do. And it's just a click and go. You don't have to know how to drive focus so much on driving the technology. You're just clicking and going through all the content that you've laid out. So lots of flexibility in the plan software, freeing up your instructors. The other technology that I wanted to talk about was the instant messaging feature. The IM technology is a separate technology from the web conferencing. This too can be integrated with your Blackboard Learn environment. And in this technology, we think of this as more of an informal technology. This would be collaboration that you would have outside of the formal meeting or formal classroom. So once you've left the online class, you as a student can now see all of your colleagues on your computer through your IM. And you can see your course. Here's an example of an English course and a macroeconomics course. And then here are my fellow students in that course. The green light means that they're logged onto their computer, so I could probably IM them and reach them. The orange ones are busy kind of sessions. You can select your drop-down menu and give yourself, reasons for why you're not available. It means you're logged on, but you happen to be busy. And then the gray ones mean that you're not logged on to the IM client. So you have this. This can be updated, again, by your LMS. So as your courses change, this would change for you, and you would see the new batch of students that you're working with in the various courses. Now, the IM interface is very, very straightforward. I use this every day with my colleagues. Right now I have myself set as on a demo, so my colleagues know not to interrupt me on my IM client because I am on a demo. But normally I might say, I'm on calls, feel free to IM me if I'm available, I'll respond or something like that. But you have a lot of flexibility here with the session. Now here, you can have the ability to launch audio and launch an actual video, but you also have the ability, if you integrate this with your web conferencing, to go into a web conferencing session right from the IM client. So say you're in here, and you do have the ability to take a chat session with them. You have the ability to not only chat, but take a video, as I mentioned, and then you have the ability to actually share a whiteboard. Now, this is a really basic whiteboard. It doesn't have the full robust features of the web conference, but the icons are the same. So you're going to not see that you have to learn a whole different technology because we've matched the icons to do the same type of commands as the web conferencing. And then if you need to take a couple of you into a web conference, you can do that instantly right from the IM client. Maybe you want to record something or you want to have more tools. You can go right from IM into the web conference. This does for your organization is, we have found that retention and outcomes, are all based on a student's connection with the institution. And so if students are starting to feel isolated from their institution, then they have a tendency to not do as well. And when you go into online courses, that becomes even a bigger issue. People are starting to be more and more isolated. So students need to have the ability to feel connected to each other, to the instructor and to the student. So this is a tool that will help you keep them connected. Another feature of the IM is the ability to set yourself into office hours. I love the office hour tool. It allows me to, once I put myself into an office hour status, you will see my name and you'll see me in office hours. Now, I could post those office hours in the LMS and say, I'm having office hours for this course on these days and this time. And then when I'm in there, you'll see me in my office hours. You join my office hours and come into a waiting room where you can text in a waiting room space, what you're having issues with. This is kind of like a separate room. And then when I want to bring you into the office hours, I would grab you and promote you and bring you into the office hour space. And here's where I have a separate audio and a separate chat, and I can launch a whiteboard with you. So lots of options here. And again, if I want to take us all into a collaborate session, I can do so right from here. Maybe we want to record this, and I can post it in the course because you're having the same problem on problem 12, and I'm going to just do a quick recording to recap that and post it in the course. So lots of flexibility there. Another way to utilize this is to set up help desks. Tutoring centers can use this, different help desks, library services, maybe your admissions needs to post some, maybe financial aid needs to use these. What a great way to have some online virtual scheduled office hours and let your students have access to those office hours when needed. So super, super powerful. Bottom line is the Collaborate technology will help you improve your outcomes by engaging your students. It's education focused. It gives you the control as an instructor to engage your students as much as you want or don't want. We look forward to discussing this further with you. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Megan unless there are questions.
We will send you questions via email. If people have questions, they'll send them to me. We do have a hard stop here because we have a biology lab with a bunch of students waiting outside the doors. So if you want to wrap it up, Megan, any questions, send them to me in email, and I will batch them up and send them over to Blackboard.
Certainly, and I appreciate it. So in respect to time, basically, Jim, as you know, when you sat down with Cyril and I, just so the audience is aware, how Blackboard has changed recently and how we're going to continue to change is that we recently had a new CEO brought in within the past year or so. And what he's done, Stephanie, you can advance the slide. He's recently taken a look at the education marketplace, and he's taken a look at the company. He's decided that we are moving forward with responsive design. We're moving forward as one platform, one Blackboard. What that means, as you are aware, Jim, is that I am now the point of contact for the account, and basically will handle all of the day-to-day issues. I'm going to have much more of a hands-on role. And what we're doing is we're combining all of those products into one Blackboard so that not only are they one Blackboard to the customer, they're one Blackboard within the LMS. So you're going to see a much more streamlined, efficient, and simple process going forward with our technology. And I can tell you that when the new user interface does become available, it's going to be very, very nice and very wonderful for our customers. And it is something where we're keeping on trend with the marketplace. So if you could advance one more slide. Just to wrap up, again, just things to keep in mind as you move forward. Blackboard is committed to the ease of use. We are also a company that gives you a lot of choices. So it's something to remember that although it can be as simple as you like, we can grow with the university. We can expand. And within that, being the Blackboard's been around for so long, we have unmatched and unparalleled experience within our people, within our software, and we have by far probably the deepest amount of integrations and partnerships and expertise. So I thank you all for your time and patience so much today. Please send all the questions to me. Jim, we're also going to get that rubric back to you. And I'm going to be quiet because we are at the hard stop. So thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Karen.
Thank you all. We appreciate it. Have a great day. And good luck getting home, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Recording stopped.